Hello and welcome to episode 26 at long last of the Regista Football Podcast. My name is Jack. Once again, I'm joined here by my good friend Ben. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
Jack, it has been a minute. I'm doing all right. It's been a decent summer so far.
Footballing summer, some would say.
It is a footballing summer. I went on a footballing, nope, actually not a footballing trip. I went on an anniversary trip to Europe, did a little footballing stuff there, came back right into the World Cup, and kind of jumped right into it.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool because you managed to get some time over in kind of England and Scotland as the World Cup was starting as well, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to watch the first Scotland game back in what was it, 28 years in the World Cup
It's
at a
crazy.
little Scottish pub. It was a cool experience. It was at 2 a.m. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Every single pub was open, man. It was a really cool thing to see that people were
Yeah,
out.
I definitely took for granted the fact that the the games were on at actual like a reasonable time here.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'd have been up for watching as many games as I did if they were 2 a.m. Man, that'd have been brutal.
Yeah, some hardcore fans getting up and watching it. Then I feel like they can feel a little of what we feel when we're getting up
Yeah.
at 4 a.m. to watch Bournemouth away.
Oh man. And to be fair, I still don't think they can feel what we feel by doing that. Mainly because we're doing it for God, like 8 months on end.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's true.
weekend after weekend. It can be kind of brutal. But talking about the World Cup, then, what do you think of it? How? And I'll ask you this. I'll frame it this way. What was your favorite part of the World Cup, and what was your least favorite part of the World Cup?
My favorite part of the World Cup was that it it brought football to a lot of people who don't really have it as one of the main sports in the front of their minds.
Okay.
Like it was cool seeing people who I've never really who I've talked to about football. Like I talk about football everywhere, and these people are now like, oh wait, I think I get it. I think I get why Ben does this, and I'm like, yeah, it's a really fun sport to watch.
Yeah.
Like anything can happen. Things change so quickly, and like they're at this precipice of kind of learning how to watch football. Some of them probably a bit more avidly than other people who are just gonna watch for some blonde Viking for a few months and then get bored. But each to their own. I think that was my favorite part. My least favorite part was that there were so many people watching football who thought that they should have an opinion on football
Yeah.
by
I know you're gonna say
watching
that.
one tournament. It's
Yeah,
like
it's true.
really like that people watched it, and I also really don't like that people had opinions by watching just this much, right? Like, and it kind of ruined it, ruined parts of it for me initially. Then I just kind of like shut out the noise, and I was like, you know what? You just wanna be important. You just want an opinion to be heard about this. So yes, I guess that's cool. You can do that. What I hope happens for those people is they have other people who have the patience to actually deal with that, because I don't talk to them and be like, hey, these are the things you should actually be watching, and I hope that they turn around and actually understand how beautiful the sport can be.
Yeah, it's like I don't claim to know much about baseball, but whenever I watch a few games of baseball back to back, which happens typically really this time of the year when there's not a lot of sports that I actually care about going on. But like when I do watch baseball, I'm not on fucking Twitter telling people, oh, I don't like how long the pitch clock is. The pitch clock needs to be changed. Just like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, yeah,
No one wants to hear it, and I can tell the same thing for the whole. I don't like how the offside rule works. Why are there throw-ins if it goes out of bounds over there? Dude, just shut up,
yeah,
please.
yeah.
I'll actually tell you mine. My favorite thing about the World Cup, and the thing that immediately struck me as it started, I absolutely love how it brings people of different cultures together. Um,
Hmm.
some of these clips that were like somewhat going viral online of a bunch of like Japanese fans in Mexico, South Korean fans in Mexico, hell, like a bunch of people over here, like Colombians over here. It was just amazing. Like a bunch of people from loads of different cultures getting together and really, really enjoying football. And that for me was my favorite takeaway of the summer. The football was good, but the community aspect of football that I felt during that period was better than the actual tournament itself for me. What did I hate about the tournament? What didn't I like about the tournament? That's a good question. I mean, we'll get into one of them in a minute, but my least favorite part of the tournament was calling breaks. From like a football perspective, anyway. Like, I think they changed games pretty drastically. So for
Hmm.
me, that was I'd say that's what I dislike about it. I'm used to, dude. I've lived in the United States for a bunch of years, and people think they can kind of complain to me about soccer, as they would call it, because they know I'm English and probably watch soccer. I've heard them all, man.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of used to that. But overall, yeah, I'd say the cooling breaks were kind of rubbish. Not for me.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like breaking the game up in that many ways into basically four quarters, and then like other people just starting to call it the first quarter, the second quarter. Like I was just like,
It's gross.
that's not what the game is. That's not
That's
like
that's icky,
what it's
man.
supposed to be. So yeah.
Don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely
know
not.
what it brought to the game really more than anything else other than breaks companies to put in ads. Apart from that, like I mean, I think cooling breaks are important when it is very hot outside, and there's definitely probably a couple matches that were midday matches that were pretty warm that people needed cooling breaks, but you don't need it in every single game. It's not necessary.
Definitely. And what Ben? What do you mean people don't need to know about the new McDonald's McCrispy 50 times in a game? Like, of course they do. You know.
I'm sorry, McDonald's. I didn't mean that. I know you're one of our non-sponsors.
I mean, hey, McDonald's, give me the money. You know, give me the money. Let's talk a bit about the format actually going into that. So, cooling breaks was one of them. I thought they were very disruptive. They changed the momentum of games a lot for me. And you can see it really. If you look at momentum charts of a bunch of games, they drastically switch after breaks happen. And for me, that is almost like a signal of either there are tactical changes being made or the kind of natural momentum you get from playing a football match is also being disrupted. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like overall, like it is disruptive in it, but like I feel like it also kind of changes the overall tournament, like period,
Yeah, it's a
right? Like
different type of game.
it is definitely a different type of game. It's a different. Like what are you working on at this stage versus later on? It
Yeah,
changes what you're actually working on.
it's a good point. I think another part of it too, it's like it gives players a chance to kind of take a breather. If someone's been
Hmm.
under the cosh for 15 minutes, and we saw that many times this World Cup, gives you like a 5 minute break to kind of breathe and chill out, almost
Hmm.
get your air back. I don't love that. Like it definitely changes the momentum of games. That really wasn't for me, that one.
Yeah, I feel like what I really like about football is the requirement of you figuring out what you need to do next without
Yeah,
very specific instruction. There's this beauty of individualism and individual skill, talent, IQ, and how you play off of your other teammates.
absolutely.
Like it is very much improvisation with certain direction. Um, and so when you take that away and you take a moment to restructure everyone, it changes things. It will change how the game is played. It does impact general results.
It's also like for someone that loves stats and the tactical side of football, there's also a big part of football, Ben, that's just feeling and situationship, you know?
Hmm.
By by removing some of those elements, by frankly killing momentum, you're changing a part of football. You're making it almost like a bunch of micro sessions, and that's just not what the game is. So that one wasn't for me. That was my least favorite thing. What did you think about the actual World Cup format itself, the 32 versus 46 teams.
You know, it'd be really cool if there was some way that we had a way to just like keep it to the 32 best teams. Like if there was like something that you do for 4 years in which you build up all the different teams that could be the top 2 that go into the knockout stages. I don't know whether that's through like I don't know, some kind of elimination building up to it so you just land with 32 and then just you move on with a 32. Sorry, I'm being very facetious. I don't like the 46. I hope there's no 64. It doesn't make sense. It extends the tournament a little bit more. And what it does for me personally is it impacts the other football I get to watch later on, right? Like
Yeah.
it's gonna put more pressure, unneeded pressure on some of the top talent to play an extra game or two. And so like I don't think it's necessary. Is there more international football? Great. But like I think what FIFA could do if they want to really make this more exciting is possibly looking at making the qualification rounds a bit more exciting, you know? And by doing that and getting more publicity on those qualification rounds, that could be fun. Like what if you actually have the host nations do the last round of all the qualifications?
Do you know what the problem with that is? Are you actually going to be watching those qualifying games? No.
I mean,
Not with Dross Nations. That's the problem,
exactly.
man.
Yeah, and so like I think this gave an opportunity for some of the smaller nations to show up, and I know we'll talk about that later on. Which that does bring a certain level of multiculturalism, which was cool to
Yeah.
see. Certain teams and their fans in the countries to just kind of like to exhibit like who they are and their and all of that stuff. But it, I just don't think it really improved that extra round of knockout. I don't think really improved the overall tournament.
No, I pretty much agree with that. I think at least for me, I think there's probably too much football as it is, especially from the club side, regardless of international football here. But so I don't think the additional teams particularly help with that aspect of it. But it's also like, and with all due respect, I'm going to be glazing some of these teams later in the show, by the way. So you can call me a hypocrite all you like, but Curacao are never going to go far in the World Cup. They're just not. Maybe that's like taking it away from people from Curacao that have had this great experience. You guys enjoy yourself. But at the bottom line is, more games isn't better for football, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. We get to watch more football as the consumer. I understand that selling aspect of it, but overall for me, like more games doesn't help, especially more games with teams that probably won't compete for the tournament. There are a bunch of decent teams that didn't end up making it. Like think of Italy. I think
Hmm.
Hungary would have been at least somewhat competitive. There are a bunch that weren't there either. So I
Yeah.
think yeah, 30, 32, 40 versus 46. I probably do prefer the 32, but
Hmm.
you know, what about let's go to overruling corners, offensive corners via VAR. I think that's a thumbs up
Yeah,
for
I,
me.
I do like overruling corners, like offensive corners. I think like if you can tell that something isn't a corner and you can prove it,
Yeah,
that I think that's fine. I think as long as it's a very quick check and you can continue playing. Yeah, sometimes the setup for the corner takes longer than reviewing, seeing that's an overruled corner and moving on with a goal kick.
yeah. It's funny because for me, as long as it's the type of thing that's done quickly, which it was, by the way,
Hmm.
I'm very happy about. But it's also like from like a more holistic side of it. Have you
Yeah.
ever watched football and you see a corner, like a replay of a corner being conceded? Like that should have been a goal kick. If
Yep.
they score from this, it's going to take the piss.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That just eradicates that completely. You know,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think it's a good rule.
And I think that's like a great use of like an automated VAR kind of
Yeah,
system to do that. I know we
definitely.
don't have it on the list here, but also what I am a fan of like of overriding throw-ins when you take too long to throw it in.
Yeah, love it too.
That happened a little bit. There was a countdown, and that happened a little bit, but wasn't as common. I'd like to see that happen more in the regular game as well. It keeps the game going. You're not just waiting for someone to throw a ball in. But
I think
yeah,
kind of why it didn't happen that much is because Calafiori wasn't at the tournament.
Ben White and Calafiore weren't at the tournament, so
Yeah, yeah.
doing normal throw-ins. You're right.
Yeah, I love that too. I think there's a bunch of, especially in the Premier League, man. Like, I
Hmm.
understand it. You're trying to waste a bit of time. Corners are perfect for doing it, but if they force you to do it and there's like a turnover of the corner,
Yeah.
love it. That should stay too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What was the other one we have? Let's talk about the kind of 1 minute after a 1 minute injury. So if you've been down on the floor for more than a minute, actually, it is that, isn't it? And then you're required to stay off for a minute
Yeah.
or go off.
You're supposed to go off, and then when you're ready to come back, you can come back in a minute. is what it was.
Okay, so it's essentially saying that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What did you think of that? I think it's a good thing. I think we see a bunch of players go down and really milk it. So I think that as a rule is just generally quite good for football. Again, anything that promotes not wasting time is fantastic for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think like if someone is down with an injury and they're not as injured and they could get back up and continue playing, that they should do that
Yeah,
and let the game go. Like if you need to like take a break and like walk it off on the pitch, great. If it's a bad enough injury, you should get off and actually, get some kind of medical health assistance. I think
agreed.
where people don't like it, the waiting, like if it I would say that if it takes you less than a minute to get assistance and it was an actual injury, then just wait the 1 minute and then you come back in. The places that I see that people didn't really do well was that they would wait longer than that minute to actually
Yeah,
let the player come back on.
I saw that happen a few times because the ref was distracted by play, so it would go slightly longer than a minute on occasions. I think it
Yeah.
should just be a timer is up
Yeah.
once he's off. As soon as he can see the timer's past a minute, he just walks on and joins play again. I don't know why the ref needs to invite him back on. I think it's silly. Yeah. What about covering your mouth? What did you think of that? So I know there were some red cards that were given because of that rule. I remember one of them specifically, which was the Miguel Almiron one. I know they
Hmm.
lost the game already. I do think it's junk. I understand why they do it,
Hmm.
but like the problem isn't covering your mouth. The problem is what people are saying when they're covering their mouth. I've seen people throw abuse at each other without covering their mouth too. Just because you're covering your mouth shouldn't be the send off offense, at least for me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like that is like that's what I feel like the covering the mouth is a result of what certain people are doing or saying, whether it's
Yeah,
racist or abusive. And that just shouldn't be in football. And like that's a different thing that we need to address at the individual level. Right.
I agree.
And at the national level, covering the mouth just when you're talking to someone isn't always going to be a negative thing. And so, like, yes, I get it. Like, just don't cover your mouth. Fine. But like, if you don't and if you enforce it this strictly at a level when people without any warning, people are just going to forget. Like, what if someone
Yeah,
forgets it and does it?
then it completely ruins the game from
Yeah,
a
then yeah,
relatively arbitrary rule.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of the way I look at it too. I mean, I look. Do I want people to be abused? Absolutely not. But
yeah.
like, that isn't the source of the abuse. That's just them trying to be sneaky. They could be saying anything, quite frankly. But yeah, I wouldn't like to see that continue in the game for me personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think that's necessary. I think they need to like address other issues on the back end that actually addresses it. I think like a straight red card. If you want to be something, if you wanted to make something, it could be a yellow, right? Like it could be like a hey, like you were aggressively approaching that player with your mouth covered. Don't do
Yeah,
that. Like one, stop the aggressive behavior is probably what you want to do.
yeah.
Like don't like yeah, like not the covering of the mouth itself.
that's I like it. Just hey, stop being aggressive, okay?
Yeah,
Let's
stop.
end that.
Like, don't be like mad at the individual. You're all here playing a game. Just like calm down
Chill out.
and like it's a game. Like, yeah, there's a lot of emotions, but like you don't have to be a jerk about it.
Facts. I completely agree with that, man.
Yeah,
Overall, I liked a lot of the changes. Like I said, I liked pretty much all of the changes that are well, I mean, were put in place to prevent time wasting. Love it. Keep those. Any of the other stuff around it, not for me. But
yeah,
overall, Ben, what do you think of the World Cup? Did you enjoy the World Cup?
yeah. I mean, overall, I think I enjoyed the World Cup more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Me too.
I was yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Me too. I think overall, I kind of know what to expect from international football. It's not going to be the craziest like in possession, at least in terms of kind of style of and overall structure of the game. But you could see by how many huge moments there were in this World Cup that the individual brilliance, there definitely wasn't a lack of that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's really what we thought of the World Cup, the overall kind of takes on the tournament. Um, let's get into the tournament awards then, shall we, Ben? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I was excited when we did this for end of season. I'm excited to do our main awards for the tournament as well.
For sure. So basically, the way we've done this, guys, is we've taken some of the previous criteria that we had out of the, at least out of the, from the Premier League one. So we've taken some of them away on this one, mainly because they're just not applicable to this style of football. But let's go over the main awards then. So what we're going to be going over is we're going to be discussing player of the tournament, young player of the tournament, manager of the tournament, goalkeeper of the tournament, defender of the tournament, midfielder of the tournament, and forward of the tournament. I want you to get us kicked off, Ben. Who was your player of the tournament?
Um, Player of the tournament. It's hard for me to actually say this because I don't. I should not like this player, but he actually was pretty good for me. Was Rodri. I think he did some great things for Spain in that midfield and just kind of dominated the play overall throughout the entire
Yeah.
tournament. Really set the pace for what they were doing and how they would play every single game. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that. I'm going to caveat, like for mine, I tried to go with as many like a bit outside shouts. So if people that I knew have won it, so for example, I think Rodri did win it, like player of the tournament. I didn't pick him because I knew he won it already, but frankly, he probably was the player of the tournament.
yeah.
I don't disagree with that. For me, I picked Jude Bellingham. Um, I think Jude was fantastic, man. He scored quite a lot of important goals, as well as like kind of stunning goals. Like he scored some really good individual effort goals. His goals contributed to England winning a bunch of important games, and he kind of showed up in this World Cup. He's always kind of been like that for England, Jude Bellingham. Like he's been a bit of a clutch master for England.
It's really funny you say Jude because I actually was gonna choose Jude and decided not to choose Jude because I had a feeling you were gonna choose him, and I was like, I'll just default to Rodri.
What made you think I was going to pick Jude?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I had an inkling that you're gonna pick
Okay,
Jude.
well your inkling was correct. Tell me about your young player of the tournament, Ben.
Johan Mazambi was my
Ditto. I
young
have the same one.
player. You do one young player of
I
the
do.
tournament. 3 goals from 0.77 xg and playing for Switzerland. Like the kid
Hmm.
showed up. I mean, showed up, got a contract after the tournament. So like
Yeah,
it's I think that was a cool way to kind of highlight him.
yeah. I thought he was a kind of one of the main things that he was highlighting in terms of skill set throughout the tournament. He's a really fast, dynamic ball carrier. Like when he has the ball driving into like the final third, he's super dangerous, man.
Yep.
He's gonna call people. He's gonna cause Premier League people some problems. If you don't know, guys, he's just signed a contract with Aston Villa. I think he was hijacked from Newcastle, which is quite funny at this stage. Yeah, what a player, man, and really good performance. Still very young, lots of room to grow, but what a performance from him.
Yep.
Who's your manager of the tournament?
Um, I think I have to say it's Babista, the Cabo
Okay,
Verde manager. I mean, I try to go kind of out of the way. Like, I feel like he did something with the team that is hard to do with a team that small, like
yeah,
internationally, and taking them up to the knockout stages is significant. Um, of course, there's other managers who are more successful in the tournament, but I think like with the resources that he had, I think he did a good job. Like, there's that also like they also like reached out to someone via LinkedIn to be like, "Hey, will you be part of our team?" And then the person just ignored them until they're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be part of the team." Like
that's
they,
nuts.
it's just kind of fun that they did all these different things just to like
Yeah,
improve their team overall.
and that again, that comes back to without the 46 team format, we're not seeing this,
Yeah,
which is again, it's the pros and cons of it. For me, I was really unimaginative here. I picked De La Fuente mainly because I
okay,
think Spain just looked by far the best team structurally. They
Yeah.
look closer to a club side than an international team at times. Like they, and I think it comes from having a such a consistent path for young Spanish players to move through. They're coached in a similar way. They have like that Spanish footballing identity that I think a lot of nations have lost over the last 20 years. But yeah,
Hmm.
De La Fuente, he definitely coaches with that. What I do like about the way they play is they're not just Spain teams of old have been accused of just being tippy tappy. You know what I mean? This team is not just tippy tappy. I think this team is really good at understanding when to increase tempo, and they were really entertaining because of that. They can get back to front really quickly, but they can also control the ball and dominate possession. Really well, well coached side. But going to kind of Cape Verde, for me, they were playing like this 5-4-1 throughout the tournament, and they looked really well defensively coached.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that. Especially if you consider like where some of these players play.
Hmm.
Fair enough to the guy. Like, I think he coached them defensively really well.
Yeah. I mean, they also like have this backup goalkeeper, Cape Verde, who's just like work plays for this Dross MLS team as well. So good on them.
San Diego, yeah. It's kind of sad we didn't get to see him play a little
Yeah.
bit, but it's
Yeah.
all right.
That would have been fun.
Um, yeah, it would have. Let's go. Who's your goalkeeper of the tournament, Ben?
My goalkeeper of the tournament is the reason Dos Santos didn't get to play Vozinha.
Me
I
too.
think, I mean, 4.2 saves per 90. That's 4.2
Yeah.
saves per 90. He faced 23 shots, conceded 5 goals out of 5.89 xCOT. Like, like he was incredible. And the person who won the Golden Glove, Unai Simeone, he faced 10 shots. He conceded 1 goal from
When
one
you put
point.
it that way,
He conceded 1 goal from 1.7 xCOT, and he had 1.2 saves per 90. Like, yeah, like it's very much the David Raya effect of Golden Glove winning this
yeah,
tournament.
it's kind of like you don't need to do much because your team is so good at preventing you from have to do much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same as you. Vicinia was frankly a hero, man.
Hmm.
Um, some of these heroic saves he made in like these dogged, really dig deep defensive displays, amazing. And frankly, what a fucking spectacle that was. Just to watch what that team did with that quality of players, but the heart they played with consistently, heroic saves. He definitely deserves goalkeeper of the tournament for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Defender of the tournament, who's yours, Ben?
Um, my defender of the tournament is Pau Kubrasi,
Okay.
um, young kid for Spain. I just feel like he was just that edged a little bit more over Laporte for me personally. Like stat wise, Powell, I felt like he was like one of the stronger players in every single way overall in the tournament. Like his total successful pass rates for a defender was like at 100%, was in the 100 percentile, 671, 96% accuracy. He was pretty decent on long balls and even created chances from the back, 8 chances created from the back. So yeah, I think he was a little weak on the dual winning, but I think that's kind of what happens when you're younger. Like I think he's gonna come out of this tournament becoming like that much more significant of a center back. I think we're gonna see his name in some of the bigger clubs. I mean, he's at Barcelona right now, but I feel like we're gonna see his name in some of the bigger clubs soon.
So like mine was also Pau Kabasi. Um, but I didn't look at the stats. For me, this is just a eye test thing. He's a
Yeah,
very graceful footballer, man.
yeah,
He is 19. He's obviously La Masia coded, so you can tell. You can almost, if you know football, you can almost look at those types of players and oh, he's Spanish. He's probably from La Masia, like very technically gifted. But actually, I would say he's not the biggest centre back, but his ability to anticipate aerially and along the ground, I think, makes him probably ahead of his years. I think he's going to be an elite player, man.
yeah,
And he's already at a big club, so we're going to be hearing about his name at Barcelona because La Masia probably not going to leave Barcelona. Phenomenal footballer and insane performances. His range of passing is fantastic too. He's just an all round very very good talent.
yeah.
Who's your midfielder of the tournament?
My midfielder of the tournament is Bellingham. Um,
Okay.
I mean, I felt like whenever Bellingham was on the pitch for England, I felt like it just kind of changed the overall dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no one else who could really replace him. He was the creator. He was part of it overall. I do have a secondary for this, and it was hard for me to choose between the two, and it's Martin Odegaard. Um, just because, like, I think he really showed up for Norway. If it wasn't for Martin, of course it was. If it wasn't for other people on that Norway team, Norway would not have gotten as far as they did in the tournament.
Yeah, I think so I agree with you. Jude was probably the midfielder of the tournament. That wasn't my pick, but Martin Odegaard was good as well, like a considerable step up from some of his performances last season from Arsenal. My pick was Alexis McAllister. I thought he was excellent. When it's dude, some of the stuff that I've been hearing about this guy, like he's lost his legs. Do you know he ran more distance than any other midfielder at the World Cup?
Yeah, yeah, he
Come on,
was. Yeah,
man.
he was an engine.
He's a if you give him small spaces to defend, he's pretty damn good still, and he
Yeah,
showed a really consistent displays. They have a weird midfield dynamic because I actually do think Alexis and Enzo Fernandez are quite similar out of possession. I think they typically need to play with kind of like a more athletic ball winning midfielder, but when they are combined, they're both good enough at everything. As long as they have small spaces to cover, I think they're a really good midfield duo. But yeah, Alexis was fantastic. So I'm going to go with Mac.
yeah.
Jude, though, was absolutely excellent. Who is your forward of the tournament?
Um, I think my forward was Mikel Oyarzabal.
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, I feel like for where he plays in like the actual in his actual like career versus what he's doing for Spain was pretty significant. Yes, Spain did not have as many goals as some of the other players. He also wasn't necessarily um, I I believe he was like 4 goals. Yeah, he was 5 goals, 1 assist. So didn't even make it to like that top golden boot area. But I think what he did is he made the goals count when they needed to
Yeah,
count. Right.
definitely.
Like in the kind of game that Spain was playing, he had to make the goals count. Like he had the majority of the goals of the tournament. The rest of his teammates equaled the number of goals he had. Spain had 5 goals. He had, or sorry, 10 goals. He had 5 of them, so 50% of the
Yeah,
goals for his team.
big impact for the ultimately the World Cup winners. You can't really argue with that one.
Yeah.
Um, Mine was Erling Haaland, and I
Who?
think for me, the big Viking guy you were just
Oh yeah, yeah,
referencing.
yeah, yeah. That guy.
Um, he and what I would say is, given the team he plays for, so obviously we saw Mbappe ball out.
Hmm.
Um, we saw a bunch of these teams from like really big, well-known football nations, like the strikers play well, but Erling Haaland at times has very little service
Hmm.
and has to create a bunch of the stuff that he has on his own. He doesn't get a bunch of chances like a lot of these other guys. And I think he finished pretty high up there in the top goal scorer list.
Yeah.
For me, at times he is like he is in the Premier League, man. He can be unplayable. It's also like how evident it was in this tournament for me for how much better he's become at dropping dropping deep kind of into attacking midfield areas and not facilitating play, but allowing players to play off of him more effectively. He's gotten really good at that over the last couple of seasons in the Premier League, and he was doing it a lot in this tournament. Man, he's a monster, and he was my forward of the tournament. Moments and matches is our next category now. So here, guys, we've kept goal of the tournament, assist of the tournament, match of the tournament, and moment of the tournament. Ben, what was your goal of the tournament?
Goal of the tournament was Cabral for Cabo Verde.
Yes,
103 in the round of 32 versus Argentina. And
bro.
my note for this was, I think this is the only goal I remember Jack. There's only goal I remember you celebrating, which wasn't an England goal and wasn't the
Oh,
final goal
bro.
for Spain. Like that was the only goal. Like it was an incredible goal too.
Like, dude, as he cuts inside and he hits it,
Yeah,
everyone in the in the brewery we were at stood up, and like a bunch of us were like, "No way!" And as soon as he hits it, it was honestly like
yeah,
it was bedlam.
yeah. It
It
was
really was
crazy.
bedlam.
It
It was
was
phenomenal, man.
it was an
I remember
insane
that
goal.
moment. It honestly was. And dude, technically, what a fucking finish that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's
Go ahead.
he's never gonna score a goal like that again. Like with that level of importance.
Yeah,
And what a hit! What a
yeah,
hit, son! What a hit!
yeah. It was an incredible, like it was an important goal in what it meant to the tournament and
Yeah,
where they were. It was an incredible goal in like in just how it was hit and the celebrations after, like what it made, like what it it was fantastic.
so you guys could probably tell like we really enjoyed that goal. Yeah, I dude, it was phenomenal, and I think a lot of it is the context of the game too. Like Argentina just went 2-1 up, and we're like, oh fuck's sake, like they're just gonna cruise on and win it now. But
Yeah,
after he scores that, it's just pure bedlam. What a goal, and
yeah,
what a huge moment for that guy as well.
yeah. Absolutely.
What's your assist of the tournament?
So my sister of the tournament, is Michael Olise to Mbappe versus Senegal, the first assist that he
You
makes.
you fucker.
Is that
You
yours
picked the
too?
same one, yeah, yeah.
It
The
was
reverse pass,
it was just so silky
crazy.
smooth.
He takes like three players out of the game, dude. And what
Yeah,
a finish by Mbappe. Yeah, so
yeah,
it was against it was Michael Elise, France versus Senegal.
hmm,
It's like he receives the ball in midfield and is able to face the goal. He sees Mbappe running like from
hmm.
left to right, and he plays this beautiful reverse ball into the space Mbappe is running in, and he
Yeah.
takes like three or four players out of the game. It's just a
Yeah.
crazy
I mean, he
pass.
breaks two lines. He takes players out of the game.
Yeah,
He anticipates where his striker is going to be and like delivers it perfectly. Like it was really, really beautiful. Okay, since we both like that one, I will also say my second favorite assist was from Odegaard to Holland against Senegal. Guys, it's not. I don't hate Senegal. I just thought they had some very bad luck. But it's when they were all running. Odegaard's off to the left, and he just kind of like he just perfectly weights it right beyond the Senegalese defender who's like trying to make a slide tackle, and then it's like it's exactly where Erling Haaland wants it, and Erling Haaland hits it as he's going down. It was just
yeah.
a beautiful, beautiful
I
goal.
remember that one. That was a good finish too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two good assists for sure. What's your match of the tournament?
Um, my match of the tournament is Belgium versus Senegal at extra time, three
Yeah,
two.
good pick.
Like it was just it was like in the middle of my workday, and I was it my yeah, it was the middle of one of my work days, and I knew it was on. I was like, I'm not gonna watch. I saw that Senegal went two nil up, and I was like, oh no, Senegal's gonna beat Belgium. I might need to watch the end of this game so I can finally buy my Belgium kit when it goes on sale. And then I took my lunch break and I was like sitting down and watching the second half of the second half, and then like
The fourth
Belgium,
quarter.
the fourth quarter, and Belgium like had those two goals like after
Yeah,
the 80th minute, and then came in extra time to get that last goal, and like heartbreak for Senegal. But I was just like, that is what the World Cup is like. That's why the games have to keep going. Like that's what it means to continue and win that game.
for sure. Yeah, that was a good game. It's funny because that was one of the games that I turned off at about the 80th minute.
Yeah.
So I was like, "There's no way Belgium are cooked." But by the way, guys, we went to a Belgium Iran game here in in Southern California in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
it was one of them that ended 0-0. And as a display, it was terrible. Belgium were kind of like that throughout the whole of the tournament until they played the Americans. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, I agree with that. That was a great game.
What was yours?
Mine was England versus Mexico.
It
I thought that was a phenomenal game,
was a
dude.
very good game.
Uh, it was like the only way I could describe it is it was like this almost pressure cooker environment. You could tell it was a home game in the Azteca. Like the Mexican fans were up for it, and England played incredibly well, dude. That was one of the best England performances I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. That sounds like an exaggeration,
Hmm.
but for everything that's always been thrown at England, none of that was the case on that evening. Like they weren't soft.
Hmm.
They didn't let adversity get to them. They played really well, quite
Yeah.
frankly. Super high stakes, entertaining, really intense game. And Jude Bellingham, man, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a great game.
Jack, it's on my notes. I typed Mexico versus England, and I had to put Belgium for Senegal because I knew
Okay,
that was going to be your favorite. Like, we can't have like more than three of the same things. It's going to be our favorite or
yeah, fair
of the
enough.
tournaments.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was a
What
good
was your
game.
moment? What was your moment of the tournament?
Um, I mean, my moment of the tournament comes from like that goal of the tournament. Cape Verde like forcing Argentina into extra time in a knockout round when they have become like when they were the incumbent champions. Like that was insane. Like I think
Yeah,
that shows what football is. It's like this nation that has 300,000 people, something like that, um, does not have like as much football heritage as
true.
Argentina, forcing them into a moment like that. These are like the little moments
Yeah,
that really bring excitement to the game.
for sure. Yeah, that was a great moment, dude. That's a good pick, actually.
Hmm.
Mine was a little bit tongue in cheek. My moment at the tournament was I was scrolling Twitter, like kind of doom scrolling Twitter,
Hmm.
and I saw this post. It was basically like a news segment from Boston, and there's this guy that was basically saying, "Oh, the Scottish have drunk Boston dry. Like there's no beer left. Like they've drank literally all the beer."
Yeah.
There's like a good 2 minute montage of bar owners in Boston talking about that they have no beer left, almost like it's a well, how it's almost like it's the prohibition. Like, yeah, there's no beer left. They completely drank us dry. I thought that was hilarious. The Scottish can drink, so can the English, by the way, but the Scottish definitely can drink. That was my moment of the tournament for sure. Tongue in cheek.
I love that. Yeah, that is I like that cultural moment that brings us into the tournament. It's fun.
For sure. Next one, guys, is Club Awards. So here we're going to pick most entertaining team, biggest overachievers, and biggest underachievers. Ben, who was your most entertaining team?
I feel like my most entertaining team was France, except for the match against Spain.
Yeah,
Like overall, like I think they were the team that were really dynamic and had a lot of fun football to watch. Overall, some of
yeah,
it wasn't necessarily predictable, but like you knew what was going to happen on the counter almost every single time.
yes.
And that's kind of
Incisive.
it just kind of makes tournament football a little bit more fun that way.
For sure, yeah, I agree with that. I think France really throughout the tournament were really impressive in terms of counterattacking. Really good in terms of controlling the ball as well against specific opponents, but the way they were just super incisive on counterattacks is I understand why you've put them there. For
Hmm.
me, I've picked kind of like a personal one of mine. I really enjoy watching Colombia play, man.
Okay.
I've spoken to this about you. I've spoken about this to you before.
Yeah.
They're super aggressive. They're quite direct, but
Hmm.
it's not like just lumping the ball up. It's moving the ball really quickly in between the lines
Yeah.
and trying to isolate wingers one on one. Diaz at times was scintillating in this tournament just on the eye test.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're super intense, really fast, aggressive. Colombia is my pick for that.
Yeah.
What do you think of Colombia?
I'll be honest. I didn't watch a lot of Columbia games. I think the only one I remember watching was the Switzerland Columbia game. I think that's the only one I
Yeah,
watched live. And so, in that, I feel like they were really fun to watch, but that game was also a little kind of 50-50 and went to
cagey.
penalties. So, yeah.
We're both going to have the biggest overachievers, right?
Uh, yes, we kind of
Yeah,
have to.
it's
It's
unbelievably Cape Verde.
Yeah, yeah. I had so I actually had I had an honorable mention for Cape Verde, but my overachiever I think was Norway,
Okay, I like
because
that pick.
mainly because like yes they have Erling Haaland, they have Martin Odegaard, but like they don't really have that many other major names on that team. They have decent football structure. But I was never expecting Norway to get that far, even with like a world class striker like Holland. I was just I was really
Yeah,
surprised how well they actually put that together to get as far as they did in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree with that. And frankly, I'd say that performance against Brazil, they
Hmm.
didn't look like the second best side in that game. Like they looked like a better team than Brazil in that game,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
That was surprising.
Yeah, it was. So I think that's completely fair. But yeah, mine was Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal performance. Again, based on their skill level, manager managed out of his skin, players played out of their skin.
Yep.
Huge, unbelievable tournament for them. Who was your
Yeah.
biggest underachievers?
I think we're probably gonna have the same one. Germany,
Yeah,
biggest
I have that one
underachievers.
too.
Yeah, I mean, one like in the group stages weren't really that strong, weren't really incisive, and then they just kind of didn't show up against Paraguay. And on top of that, awful, awful in the penalties.
Yeah, oh
So
god.
yeah, it was yeah, just honestly, I expected them to go a little farther than where they were. I was expecting like a Germany France, was it
Me too.
semis? So yeah, or quarters. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Germany. My take on Germany really, I watched all of their games. The way I would describe the way they play is like they invite teams into a low block, but they
Hmm.
don't know how to deal with the low block.
Yep.
So once the team's in a low block, they're basically just horseshoeing to death
Yeah.
with very little incision. A big problem is that they just don't have much pace, man.
Yeah.
They don't have many fast footballers. So
Yep.
like when they do have space to play into, like there's no one that can really take advantage of that, and they were kind of blunt throughout the whole of the tournament. The penalty shootout was a borderline disgrace, man. Like
Yeah.
there were players that didn't want to do it, so Tar had to step up and he missed.
That was
It's
wild.
it's crazy, but hello Jurgen? Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp could be taken over from Nagelsmann. That'd be fun. Sorry English, but I'm German now. Fun awards. Let's do these.
These are the
Most
best ones.
underrated player. Yeah, I like these. Most underrated player. Most overrated player. The Streets Won't Forget award. The Chaos award. The biggest fall off and the carried his team award.
Yeah.
Most underrated player. Whose was yours, Ben?
Um, this seems kind of silly to say right now, but in my mind, I felt like Bellingham was the most underrated player, and I think, and I have to speak on him personally. I kind of slept on him because of his season with Madrid. I was like, wait, this guy's playing with these world star footballers, the Galacticos 2.5s or whatever they are at this point. But like, is he gonna? What is he gonna produce for England? And he produced a lot. He produced a lot. He really showed up. And I think the other part of that too is I think there's probably a lot of people who either didn't hear about him or just kind of forgot about him after he went to Madrid. But yeah, I think for me that was it was
See,
definitely Jude.
I think that's because we're very much in our Premier League bubble.
Yeah.
Um, he had his dude. He's in one of England's biggest players,
Oh yeah,
100%. In
absolutely.
terms of
Yeah.
like notoriety, and his performance throughout the World Cup was sensational. Like I said, I picked him as my the player of the tournament, so
Yeah.
maybe he's underrated based on that. But
Yeah.
mine was Jed Spence.
Oh yeah.
I thought Jed Spence was excellent, and for things that I didn't expect him to be excellent for.
Yeah.
He'd have like these wide isolations he'd have with players. And dude, one of our friends is called Tyler. He's a Tottenham fan, and the amount of times I tried to banter him, basically saying, "Oh, Jed Spence and one on one, ball's gonna go back now." And dude, he takes people on, like
Yeah.
he rips people out wide. He had a phenomenal display, and people seem to forget this too. He is a right back, but
Yeah.
people play him at left back. I've seen him play at centre back. I've seen him play at left back. He's good, dude. He really showed out this tournament. He was one of England's best defenders for me.
Yeah. DJ Ed was fantastic. I was surprised how much I was surprised how much I was cheering a Tottenham
Yeah,
player. I
it's
was like, I
nuts.
feel gross doing this, but wow, this kid's actually ripping people apart. Like just especially in that France game, so much
Yeah,
fun to watch.
tearing people up, man.
Yeah.
Tearing people up. Who was your most overrated player?
Um, my most overrated player coming into the tournament versus what they actually probably produced is probably Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
Like I felt like after the season that he had and getting player of the season in the Premier League, like he would have and maybe I just heard it from a lot of different places as well that he was going to come in, he was just kind of tear it up during the World Cup and really show what a great footballer he is, and kind of become what Erling Haaland was for Norway. Portugal came into this. Yeah, they have some decent strength, but they need like some brilliance, and I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Bruno, but I think he had two dribbles, two big chances, and like one assist in the tournament overall.
Yeah.
And so like I think he was definitely an overrated player. He did not perform to his level of capability that he could have done.
Yeah, I think he suffered a bit because of how Portugal play. I just don't think Portugal were very good in this
Yeah,
tournament, man.
yeah,
But no, I agree with you. I think based on his reputation, it was definitely an underperformance. There's no
yeah.
doubt about that. My most overrated player, I'm going to caveat this by saying we live in the United States, and mate, it's Christian Pulisic. Like the
You mean
amount
the
of like,
LeBron James of
oh
soccer?
god, the amount of gas that guy gets, gas, like pure gas. And sorry, Yanks, but he's shite.
Yeah,
He's shite. He doesn't do anything. He had two dribbles against Paraguay, and people were looking at him like Weah. It's crazy the amount of gas that guy gets. He
yeah,
was, and he, frankly, he never does. But again, he didn't turn up when he was needed, and
yeah.
that's
I
the bottom
mean,
line.
I'm just glad that he's gonna go get some rest now.
Yeah, yeah. That was a wild post match interview. Quite
Yeah,
frankly,
yeah.
quite a funny one actually. Who wins your Streets Won't Forget award, Ben?
Dude, Cabral wins treats won't forget, man.
Okay.
Like I don't like that goal. What he did, the celebration after, like I think we're gonna be thinking about that kid for years. Like this is gonna be like that clip is gonna run just like the first goal, the Bafana goal, at the 2010
Yeah,
South America
100%.
World Cup. Yeah,
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is probably the correct answer. I picked for a specific performance.
yeah.
I picked the Arda Güler performance against the United
Oh,
States.
yeah,
Um, some of the stuff he does in that game, guys, is just absolutely filthy. On the last goal, on like the 3-2 winning goal, he is in the corner flag, surrounded by three of them. He
yes,
looks Pulisic dead in the face and just megs him and runs around all three of them, assists the goal. It is pure filth what he does in that game.
hmm,
He played so well in that game. Too bad Turkey was so bad in the tournament. So I'd
yep,
have loved to see him in like higher stakes games. But yeah, that is a Streets Won't Forget award worthy performance for me, for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Who gets your Chaos Award?
My Chaos Award goes to Belgium. Just awful group stage football. I don't know how they got out of it. Then they pull it back in the 80th after the 80th minute versus Senegal in the knockout
Okay.
stages. And then they go to the US and they destroy the US. And then they absolutely collapse in the last 10 minutes against Spain. Just absolutely
Yeah,
just like all they're like, oh wait, we forgot how to play. We're back in group stage football again.
it's so
Um,
true.
like just I was just like, wait, what is going on? I for when they had that first goal, I was like, I can't believe that Belgium's gonna knock out Spain, and I actually had that thought, and then I was like, oh wait, this is Belgium. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Mine was Leandro Paredes after after the final. Bro's throwing fists at people,
Oh
man.
my
Like you
gosh.
don't really see that in football, like especially football on big stages.
Yeah,
Dude just like punching people. The whole of the Argentinian like team at that stage were basically just thugging around the pitch. It was wild. It was like such a chaotic
yeah,
end to a game I've seen, especially at that stage. It was crazy. He got
yeah.
banned, didn't he, Paredes? Am I
No, they
wrong?
did. They did a review, and they said that they
Wow.
didn't see anything wrong with what he did.
Okay, so like you get sent off for covering your mouth, but you don't get in trouble for punching someone in the face.
Nope,
Love it.
not at all.
Biggest fall off.
I mean, biggest fault is Germany. Um,
Okay.
for me, like I felt like for what they have
Expectation.
been, yeah, expectation for what they were supposed to be, overall. To like, I think they were gonna find their feet, but they just couldn't find their feet at all.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I picked Brazil. Um,
Yeah,
kind of poor performances all round. I think they got lucky at times. Never particularly looked convincing. pretty, and I don't say this in a disrespectful way. I think this guy used to be a world class footballer, but
Hmm.
they're parading Neymar around like he's just like a make a wish kid.
Yeah,
It's just lame. Like if he's not good enough to play for you anymore, he
yeah.
shouldn't be starting. You should be a more serious nation. You're like one of the most, well, you're the most successful international country in the world when it comes to football.
Hmm.
Crazy. But yeah, I'm going to pick Brazil for that.
Yeah.
And the last but very not least award, the carried his team award. Who wins that for you, Ben?
Um, Lionel Messi carried
The
his team
GOAT.
to a final.
Me too. Yeah,
Like,
that's who I
yeah.
picked.
I had a feeling you were going to pick that. We both know why Messi is carrying the team and why he gets
Yeah,
that award. I have
the
another
GOAT.
one. Orlando Gill, who is the keeper for
Yeah,
Paraguay,
that's a good one.
the 73 shots faced,
Yeah,
60 saves,
that's crazy.
60 saves. He only conceded 13 goals from 16 xgot. Like this man
Wow.
took this team past everything. And you
Yeah.
say, well, he was in a couple of he was in that penalty shoot off, so that's probably some of the X got right. He only saved one penalty, and he only conceded one penalty goal.
Yeah, that's nuts. But when you put it that way, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they were like really defensively resolute, and
yeah,
in some of those games, those saves that he'd pull off were pretty top drawer and
yeah,
consistent. You know, like he was
yeah,
getting, like you said, he was facing a lot of shots, and I think he performed really well. The reason I picked Messi, you guys all know why we picked Messi, but the thing for me is like coming into this tournament, he obviously gets glazed, and he should. If anyone deserves to
yeah,
be glazed, it's him. But I think there was definitely a part of me like thinking, can Messi do that on this stage anymore? And after that first game, he completely puts that to bed.
yeah,
Like he is just such an incredible footballer. We're so lucky to be around at the time when this guy is playing because we might never see a footballer as good as him again.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Just phenomenal. But yeah, that's the awards today, guys. We're on
Wait, wait,
Twitter.
wait,
Let
wait.
us know what
There's
yours
one
are.
more. There's one more award. The How is he still doing this award?
Oh yeah, who wins your How's He Still Doing This award?
Obviously, Declan Rice. Why have his legs not fallen off yet?
So mine was actually Alexis McAllister,
Yeah,
but I used him for my other award. I'm actually going to say Yuri Tillemans.
yeah,
Mainly because this guy is known not to be like this big marauding midfielder. Um, he goes out there for Belgium in a situation that isn't particularly great, and I think he has a really good tournament. Yuri Tillemans, like low key, I think he's one of Belgium's best players. But dude, he was out on his feet at times last season. Villa played a bunch of games too, and he
yeah,
looked sweet. He played really well, and he earned him a move to United,
yeah.
basically. But yeah, those are our awards, guys. We're on Twitter. Let us know what awards you have, who you'd give specific things to. By all means, we have some changes coming up over the next couple of months during this kind of like off-season period. We're going to be kind of releasing episodes every 2 weeks. Once the league starts again, we're going to be doing our best to do 2 episodes a week. So a standard episode and then a Pub Diaries episode where we kind of review games and have a few beers. But yeah, big changes coming up. Looking forward to showing them. Ben, anything from you before we sign out?
No, I'm very happy that we're getting back into it. I'm very excited for the upcoming Premier League season and also, European season and all the other football that's happening. I will say I enjoyed the World Cup largely because I got to watch a lot of it with you, Jack. I'm glad we were able to do that, and
Thank you, man.
yeah, I'm excited to this next season.
Yeah, that was a big part of it for me too. It was like the idea of being able to watch games at reasonable times
Yeah,
kind of brings me back to actually watching football at home. Like I get to watch football at 4 o'clock with my mates drinking a beer, not at
yeah.
8 o'clock because I'm often also with my mates drinking a beer. But you know how that goes. Hope you guys have enjoyed
Yeah.
the episode today. Like always, like us on Spotify, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, do all that stuff. Peace out.
Cheers, y'all.